Hey, everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure. And we're going to talk about Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl.
Woo! So I kind of knew that I had become a book baddie. But I think I've kind of been adopted into all of the baddie circles, including the Swiftie circle.
The Swifties.
And I'm so here for it. I am so glad the rapture didn't happen. It was supposed to happen on September 23rd, and it didn't happen. And because it didn't happen, we got Life of a Showgirl 10 days later. Can you imagine if it happened and she was one of the ones that got raptured and we never got Life of a Showgirl?
Well, wouldn't her work be left behind? So wouldn't we have gotten it? It would have just been a matter of asking her estate to still release it.
You and your logic. Okay, first question. Do you own a physical copy of this thing?
I do. I got the original vinyl.
The original vinyl? Dang.
Yeah, I pre-ordered hard on the very first opportunity, knowing full well that she would come out with variants, and I didn't think that through. So I have an orange sparkly vinyl.
Dude, vinyls are making a hardcore comeback. It's a little sad that they're making a comeback because when I was younger, I used to collect vinyls, and you could go to record shops and you could go to like garage sales and stuff and get vinyls for like $2 and $3. And now they're like $40 collector's items.
Right? They've really come up. And also they need to be stored correctly, and I need to come up with a storage solution ASAP.
That would be the reason I used to collect vinyls. I bought a whole bunch of them in college, and then when I moved back in with my parents after college and I was flying back and forth to Las Vegas for a while and whatever, my mother decided that it would be a really good idea to just scooch them out into the garage. And all of my vinyls warped and bent and quasi-melted. And super sad.
Womp womp.
I didn't personally buy anything, but your sister did. She bought the CD. So we got the actual CD. And then she bought another CD because she thought it had like extra tracks on it or whatever. No extra tracks. It just came with some like necklace thing. So we have 2 CDs and I just commandeered one. So
Yeah, the variants are... I get it. You know, she's empowered to do whatever she wants. But also, no thanks.
I'm not happy with the variants, and I think we can save the not happy stuff for the end. Because I don't want to poo-poo, you know,
The success.
and make people think that I hate it or something. So let's get into some hype. Okay, Life of a Showgirl has broken so many records. It's ridiculous. Do you know what any of them are?
Having listened to the album at least 10 times through. Oh no, probably about 20 times through. No, I don't, but I think she's hit record number of sales from one album, because I think Adele, for her album 25, was the one she had to beat.
Yes, and she beat it. I think it was technically like first week or single week sales.
Sure.
See here, she also shattered a single day of streaming.
I definitely participated in that.
I did too. And She uh well, she didn't like break this record, but she was the first person since Prince in the early 80s to have the number one song, the number one record, and the number one movie all at the same time.
Oh,
It's been, what is that? Like something like 40,
that's
45
a large
years.
chunk of time.
Yeah. And she has the record for the most songs from any single album to occupy the top 12 at the same time. All 12 tracks.
That's
Like
badass.
the top 12 was just Life of a Showgirl.
Dang.
That's insane.
And nearly impossible?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, so how many times have you listened to it so far?
At least 20 plus times, I think.
20 plus?
Been in the car a lot.
Car? Anything during work?
No, not during work, and I haven't actually played my vinyl yet.
What? Come on.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
it's all been on Apple Music.
Is the vinyl just like gonna look pretty?
I put it on the vinyl record, and I put the flower I got from the movie on top of it to take a picture and post it. Have I done that? No.
Okay. I'm gonna save the movie. I'm gonna save the movie for a hot second. I don't think I've listened to it as much as you have. Maybe a dozen times, I think. I've put it on in some headphones while I've been like sitting doing computer work. What when did you listen to it the first time the day it came out?
Yeah, at like, I think I got up at 6, so I listened to it at 6. Then I listened to it again before I think I went into work.
Okay. What was your first impression?
Hard to recall. I definitely it was happy listening to it and really enjoyed it. Um, I think I was just fascinated because now that I know her style a little bit better, I was trying to pick up all of the things. And saw someone's post about how first time you listen for the vibes, the second time you listen and you read the lyrics while you're listening. So I tried hard the first time to not do that, but also try and figure out what she was saying, and then looked at lyrics. Not even the full second time, just the songs that I was like, I don't know what she's saying. By the third listen, I was singing some of them.
The first time that Elizabeth and I listened to it was we were in a really crappy hotel in Burlington, Vermont. We had just done like a 8 hours of driving and sightseeing across New Hampshire and Vermont, and we had a cruise on Lake Champlain. So when we got back to the hotel, we were like, okay, we can finally listen because like I don't pay for any music streaming services, and when you access them on your phone, they'll shuffle everything. So I didn't want to do it from my phone to my car while we were driving. So I waited to get into the hotel room and fired up the old laptop because I don't pay for the streaming services. But if you open it on your laptop, they don't shuffle it, they'll just play it.
What a weird
What?
glitch.
Yeah. So we listened to Life of a Showgirl while we were extremely tired and road weary um, in a crappy hotel, and we didn't like it.
So your mood matched your album vibe then. Your mood impressed upon it.
Yeah, and part of the reason why I wear headphones when we do this is I don't think my laptop has the best speakers. I think that might be another thing.
Play a Pactor.
Um, okay. Has your opinion of the album changed with like the 20 plus listens since you first listened to it?
Enjoyed it from the start, and I am still enjoying it.
Okay.
I definitely have some strong favorites and I think I've got some skips, but we all have some skips.
it has only gotten better for me. Like, it is solid. It's a solid listen. It's fun. It's surprisingly catchy. Um, I feel like the vast majority of the songs on Life of a Showgirl are all catchy like a single.
Mhm.
You listen to some of her other albums, and it's not that the music is bad. It's just not everything is like a single. So that's kind of cool. Let's. I want to hear about some of your favorites though. So, um, do you want to get into? Let's get into the album. We'll save the movie for the end. Uh, okay. What are you? What songs do you like? What are your favorites?
Top 2, Father Figured and Canceled.
Father Figured and Canceled. Nice, nice, nice. Um, why?
I so it's speculated that Father Figure is a lot about her getting her records back. But also, I just think it's a power play. It's kind of funny. It's also like really deep and meaningful. So I really enjoy that. Canceled is up there because of the really strong friendship vibe that is with it. But also, I have these really fond memories of driving in Western Hills, Cincinnati, listening to Lord's music,
Mm,
Royals. And it
yeah.
gives me that type of vibe of like deep, dark, seedy. My friends are more important. I'm gonna back my friends up.
So, I love Father Figure. I think that might be my favorite one. Um, I think it's so much more applicable than just like the record situation and like our culture is like so not awesome right now. Like
Yeah.
we don't need to, go too deep into that, but like the patriarchy is not so awesome. It's pretty toxic. And as somebody that like grew up, it's I can look back at my career and just be like, yeah, I was being groomed to just be an asshole that doesn't give a shit about anything but money. And it's like that song, it hits so hard in your soul, especially like when you're a dude that's like woken up and seen. It's pretty crazy. And then sorry, I wanted to make sure I had the exact song title right. Actually Romantic, I think is my second one. I can't tell if it is solely about Travis Kelce. I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
I think they've speculated actually Romantic is about Charlie XCX.
Okay. Okay. I was really hoping it was sort of like a passive aggressive diss track.
Well, I think that's so they've attributed it to her, but I think more broadly it's probably a diss track to a lot of folks.
Yeah. Especially because I think my very favorite I don't know if you've seen this, but Gavin Newsom's like uh
Yes.
social media team used it about him and the president, and I thought that was I don't care what side of politics you're on. If you don't think that that is funny or creative or amazing, you don't have any sort of sense of humor, man.
Speaking of like that similar type of the vibe of like not a diss tracky vibe, I also really enjoy Honey. I know some people
Mm.
are like, how is this the start of this album? And I really enjoy it. As someone as a female who's worked in customer service, it hits hard.
I gotta ask, what do you think about Wood? Let's
I
just
think
get right to it.
it's so funny. The first time I listened to it, I started texting everyone. I was like, listen, I understand you may not like Taylor Swift, but I'm gonna need you to listen to this song because I think it's really fucking funny. And the fact that she's being funny is A, impressive. B, also, we just need more things that make us laugh.
I find it to be so interesting. Like, I think that it is the most interesting part of songwriting. So she goes into the studio with this like, I want to talk about superstitions and breaking them, and I don't need to knock on wood, and then we're just gonna kind of write the song, and I'm gonna work with some musicians, and we're gonna slide on over to, I guess at the time, my boyfriend's.
Or do you think it maybe started there and she's like, "Oh, let's interweave some superstitions in this to make it, more nuanced,"
I don't know. She's been a little bit gaslighting everybody about the meaning of that song.
right?
So who knows?
I don't know, I'm all for it. I guess I always thought dick jokes were really pathetic, and now I'm like, oh, because 'cause they're just funnier when women say them.
Boys are a little preoccupied most of their life, and
It's like when I took CAD in high school. I forget, it was some type of applied engineering class or whatever, but it was basically how to use the software system CAD. Anywho, every single plastic triangle in that room had a dick drawn into it, and I was the only woman in this class, and the teacher did not know. Not that he didn't know how to challenge me because I kept, like, finishing the exercises in, like, 10 minutes, and it would take the rest of the whole class period. So that was the one class I would go in, I would do my work, and then I'd be like, "Do you have more work for me?" And he'd be like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna leave the room then. I can't look at jigsaw triangles." And he'd be like, "Fully get it. Bye."
I don't know why, but the only thing I can think of is the Deathly Hallows from Harry Potter with the Elder Wand and the
Yep.
triangle.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of right now. Are there are there any songs on the album that you're like, nah?
Ruin the Friendship is maybe a skip for me now.
Okay. Why?
I liked it in the beginning. I think honestly hearing her thought process behind it, I was like, disappointed is not the right word, nor do I expect her. But when you listen to Ruin the Friendship, you get this vibe that she's talking about a high school sweetheart that she went back and saw their funeral during the tour. And she didn't really mention that, obviously, probably to keep the family safe. Um, so I think I just was like, I don't know. It's one part sad, one part. She talks about it being wistful, and I get it, but meh.
I'm not I'm not too up and up on the title track, Life of a Showgirl.
Mm, yeah, it's okay.
Like, it's not a bad song. I think the thing that makes me go, "What?" is how similar it sounds to other music. Um, like very specifically Cool by the Jonas Brothers. And I think that it also is very similar to a song by the Pixies from like the 60s or 70s. But like if you're gonna if a song from 2020 is gonna sound like a song from 1960, it's like fucking it's been 60 years, who cares? But if you're gonna make a song and it sounds almost verbatim like a song from like 10 years ago, it's sort of like the
Jonas
Jonas
Brothers.
Brothers.
In specific, in their summer, their song "Cool," um, so she used a strategy called interpolation, where you use the same first, like, 4 notes, and that is what's giving it a reminiscent vibe, and she did that very intentionally with multiple artists who have struggled to gain the rights to their music, and people speculate that she did that to call attention to their fights.
Okay, I can get behind that. I have thoughts and feelings about, Jack Antonoff, um,
That he
and
should speak?
I was kind of starting to lean on we're getting into some of my, like, not so happy thoughts on the album, and it's not even the album, it's really just the industry and Jack Antonoff, so I guess we can hold off on a little bit of that. I didn't realize that it was that this was, like, with multiple songs. Have you heard are, like, people just, speculating, or is there anything out of Camp Taylor directly?
I haven't seen anything from her team per se.
Okay. I mean, given her history with records and everything, I know that she credited, somebody as a songwriter or something directly and like, so
Yeah.
that they get royalties instead of their estate or the music company or whatever. Like, so I know that she does those kinds of things intentionally. Hopefully that's right. That because hopefully what you're saying is accurate, because that makes me feel a little bit better about stuff.
Mhm.
How do you think, Life of a Showgirl holds up post Tortured Poets Department, Midnights, Folklore, Evermore, etc.?
For sure on the rotation. But I definitely went back and listened to Tortured Poets Partner again because I needed that wallowy vibe. And I came back to Life of a Showgirl yesterday. Did you lose your train of thought?
No, I'm trying to actually think about if how I want to, like, transition things. I guess I'll just answer my own question. That seems to be the most logical thing to do, right? Um, so I think it holds up with her more recent albums. I don't think it is better than her most recent albums.
Glad that she's really proud of this work.
Mhm.
I will continue to listen to it. Do I think that some of her other work is better? Yeah. Do I think the Fate of Ophelia music video is her best? Yeah. But her Reputation ones were also so good.
The Reputation ones were good. If I'm gonna be honest, I actually think some of the 1989 ones were really good, like, Blank Space and, like, she had some really good music videos. I know she didn't necessarily direct those ones, but, uh, I feel like, and I don't know if you feel this way, but, when I listen to Life of a Showgirl, I feel like the vast majority of the songs on it sound like they could be songs from other records.
Of hers? I also think there's intentionality in that. Well, they say Taylor Swift doesn't do anything without intentionality, and it seems to hold true.
Okay, I get that. I guess I'm asking, like,
How?
do you feel that way about her other albums? Do songs from Midnight sound like they should be songs from Reputation or Lover or Folklore?
Hmm, I would
I
have to
understand.
say not, but I also don't get that vibe from this album.
Okay.
But I'm a little simple-minded. I'm like, "You say it's on this album? It's on this album then." The people that are like, "Canceled doesn't belong," I'm like, "I don't really care. I'm glad I got it."
I think part of my thing just is it's a lot to do with the music industry, and I think we can kind of save some of that bigger picture talk for the end. We can still talk about thoughts on the album. I I don't get a lot in my, like, algorithm about Taylor Swift, but your sister does, and I can
Mhm,
imagine that you do.
mhm.
Um, I've heard tangentially that there are people that, like, love it, and there is, like, a huge population of people that hate it,
Yes.
and I don't have any details on that. I was wondering if you had some details on that.
So one of the thoughts that I've found that I think is really interesting to think about is they're saying that perhaps she used Hamlet very broadly and Shakespearean um, thought processes for this album very broadly in regards to we are one of the actors in her game, in her story, and she intentionally wrote it to get such polarizing responses because then obviously that then feeds into her media, her attention, blah, blah, blah. It's probably how she got all of the album sales.
I read or I was told something like, Gen Z specifically thinks that it's like a cringy millennial thing,
Right? I'm like, okay,
wh which is
whatever.
really confusing to me because, like, we're aware that Taylor Swift is a millennial, right?
Right? And everything we do, Gen Z says is cringe, which is fair and fine and whatever. So we be cringe.
And then I've also heard that a lot of people don't 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 like it. Like, a
Again.
lot of us millennials and Gen X and stuff just don't like it, but they loved her previous albums. I don't know if you've read anything like that.
Okay, but everyone hates the album when it comes out. People hated Tortured Poets Department when it came out. And like longtime friend like fans of hers. And I went to class because I also like listened to that early in the morning. I was like, I really like it. They're like, what are you talking about? It's a horrible album. I'm like, okay, well, I liked it. And I've seen all this content about like how that's just so historically true for Taylor Swift and her albums about how people hate them and then they come around to them. And then her next work isn't, you know, folklore wasn't the love of lover, and Evermore wasn't the wistfulness of folklore, and Midnights was a pop shift from our folk days. Tortured Poets Department was way too lyrical, and now we're just too happy. We're too happy, Matt.
It is very interesting. So, I think a lot of what art is, and I know Taylor has said this, but I found it to be true with not just music, but the books that you like.
Mhm,
If you go to a museum, what, like, paintings are you drawn to? It's really, like, whatever you feel and hear on a day-to-day basis and whatever you're thinking and hear on a day-to-day basis, you gravitate towards the same.
mhm.
And I don't necessarily want to say that people are just super sad, and so they're like, "Oh, happy. I don't gravitate towards that. It must suck." Even though they don't actually consciously think that thought process. But I do think that we live, especially us Americans. I know Taylor Swift is super global, but especially us Americans, we're living in a very divisive, unhappy, scary time, and our thoughts day to day, from social media to the news to thoughts about our jobs and careers, are just very negative and stressed and anxious. And to then get an album where somebody is just like, I am so happy and so in love, and my boyfriend's penis is so big. Like, it's, it's like how I get why people aren't gravitating towards it. I get
Yeah,
why people don't like it. I get it. But, like, can we step back and just listen and go, is it, like, musically good?
but how do you say something is musically good without the emotional connection to it?
Maybe that's because I used to write a lot of music. So I can kind of detach myself from the emotional connection and think about the music objectively, because objectively, she wrote an album like Thriller. that Michael Jackson wrote. So Michael Jackson, do you know anything about Thriller?
Mm. I mean, I
No.
know the dance.
So Michael Jackson had released a handful of solo albums before Thriller, and like they were all really really good, but he was never given like album of the year. And like looking back on it, I think I can say that he didn't get album of the year pretty much because he was black. I think we can kind of say that. But he got this like fire inside of him and he went into the studio and he said, "I'm not leaving this and I'm not going to settle for a record unless every single song on it can be released as a number one single on the radio." And they created the Thriller album. And it was like every single song on that record is like number one single worthy. And like arguably that's what Taylor Swift has done with this one. And even though I don't gravitate towards it and have a huge emotional connection with it, I can hear that when you listen to the album. And I guess it kind of strikes me as like, how do other people not hear that? Because they're like, I'm not as happy as she is. That's just crazy.
I think many people are strongly attached to their emotions, so not as many people are able to detach emotions from objective.
Maybe that just means I'm a sociopath.
Potentially.
Potentially. Thank you.
Oh.
Is there anything you don't like about the album?
Not necessarily. I think some of the content out there about the Mossverse intertweaved into the album has been entertaining, especially the Rebecca Yarros and Opalite. I think it's a stretch, but whatever you want. Whatever you want, friends. So have you seen that content?
I have not. I need you to enlighten me. Go, please.
Okay, so in Opalite, we talk about lightning strikes and long nights, long onyx nights, right? And then
Yeah.
lighting up the sky like opalite. So obviously, lightning strikes fourth wing. Onyx storm is the onyx line, and then people are like, "And iron flame is the opalite because that's when she learned how to harness her powers and light up the sky." And that one, I just can't. I just can't stand behind. Sure, sure. The lightning strikes and the onyx knight, wonderful tidbit, maybe to throw to Rebecca Yarros, who's apparently a big Swiftie. The opalite reference being Iron Flame, I just can't. Maybe because I didn't like the book, but
Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch.
I
Uh,
have really loved some of the references to the Sarah J. Maas kingdom, especially father figure, and that being Oberlin versus um Aelin, Selena,
um,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. I never made that connection. Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of really good ones where they're making the narrative back and forth, and it's actually kind of interesting to think about. I've heard some good commentary about how they kind of wish Sabrina had been featured on Father Figure and it had been a back and forth conversation instead of Showgirl, because then that would have created a really interesting dynamic for that song.
I also think that would have been a really good. I mean, I understand why Sabrina was on Life of a Showgirl because she
Yes.
is very showgirlish in her career and everything. I get that, but man, she's also gone through the ringer with the industry and the patriarchy, and that's crazy. Taylor said that there's not going to be a tour for this album. How do you feel about that?
But can there be more music videos? Because, like, I don't have $1,000 to shell out for tickets for a tour, but I do have some time I'm willing to give for watching some music videos.
there better be music videos because if she I think this is the number one album she's ever made that is like made for visuals.
Yes. The whole
Um,
thing. Every single
yes,
song I would like a music video for.
maybe not wood.
I think it's hilarious with all the superstitions that she keeps talking about.
Oh, I was just like, I don't know if I want to see all of the like Easter egg references to
I think she'd keep it real PG somehow, and the rest of us would all be laughing in the corner while the kids are dancing. Have you listened to the clean version versus the explicit versions? So the movie was all the clean version.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, this is a good transition. So you went to the movie.
I did. I had a great time.
Do you want to talk about that whole experience, like when you went, who you went with, what it was like, etc.?
So I went like for Sunday, like the last day at 6:30 p.m. with my mom and my sister. After like a lot of texting back and forth of like, I'm gonna go see this. Do you want to come with me? If not, I'm gonna book a Saturday ticket. But if you want to come with me, I'll book a Sunday ticket. So a lot of back and
Yeah,
forth. Finally book a ticket. And we go. And obviously we get popcorn. Just so you know, you can't go to the movies without popcorn and my mom.
agreed. Agreed. Hey, me either.
Number one. Number one. So we get our popcorn. We go in. Um, and there's a whole group. There's probably like 10 kids that are like that 8 like 6 to 8 range, and their parents are with them. So that was kind of fun and entertaining. They got up and danced at one point. And what was so smart about it, so it was a listening party, right? So it's the music video, some Taylor things between lyric videos, but she does the music video. Then she describes all these parts of the music video, and you get to see the little snippets and everything. And mom comes back to me and she's like, we gotta, can we watch it again? Literally, we play it again. Taylor already knew what mom needed. And then at the very end, one of the other people near us had made all these flower bouquets and they were handing out flowers to everyone, which was just so fun. And so
Oh,
it
that's
was
cute.
just like a cute little reminiscent back to I also went to the Eras Tour movie by
Hmm.
myself. And it was just so much fun, especially that one I got to see in Athens. And I took myself on a little date, and there was probably maybe 15 of us in the movie theater, right? So, like, people got up, they were singing, dancing, having fun, and that's listen, I will pay $12 for that. I will pay 19.89 for that. I might pay more than that. I would love to go to a show. I would love to go to a tour show. Um, I don't have the patience to sit in an online waiting room with 14 computers going on a hope and a prayer and then shelling out thousands of dollars. Also, people.
Listen, would a Taylor Swift concert be epic?
Yes.
Yeah, you betcha. Um, I love going to concerts. I've gone to concerts repeatedly since I was like 16 years old. And it's really exciting to see like the band or the act on stage, but like the thing that makes a concert great is the rest of the audience.
Mhm.
The vibe, the feeling, the sing-alongs, the everybody just loves everybody for an evening kind of a thing. And I think that that would probably be the I think a Taylor Swift concert might be the pinnacle of that. You get you get like 100,000 person stadium and like that's that'd be amazing. But given how pricey that gets, I can only imagine that we would be in the nosebleeds. And like I don't like watching football games from the nosebleeds. So I can't imagine I'd enjoy a concert from the nosebleeds. And then Taylor would be like a little speck running around a stage. And so I just have my eyes glued on the Megatron.
Right? And,
And
like
I'm like really torn. Like, is that worth it? Would I actually enjoy? I don't know. Like, obviously, everybody around the world loved going to the Era concert. So,
And the part of her stuff that I really just want more of, like the show and the dramaticness about it was great. But when she does the acoustic set and she interweaves her songs together, that is what I really would love for her to record some of that work. Just because it shows how well she knows her own material and how well she understands music to interweave it all together. But then you get to see like, I see a lot of fan driven content for some of that, and I super love it. So it would be nice to hear more of how she interweaves her own music.
I was actually telling your sister this might have been, like, last year, because we were talking about Taylor Swift. This is way before Life of a Showgirl was ever announced, and we were talking, like, what is Taylor gonna do when the Eras Tour is over? Um, I was kind of thinking back to Guns N' Roses, and okay, so one of the reasons why Axl Rose is amazing, but also one of the reasons why nobody wanted to work with him anymore is because he had this grand vision in his head and everything got bigger and better as it went along. And so they went from like playing little clubs on the Sunset Strip to doing a world stadium tour with the Use Your Illusion albums in like 1994 or whatever. And they were like these 3-hour concerts. They're huge with like grand pianos and backup singers and symphony orchestras. And it was this like, how do you get bigger than that? And then it took him like something ridiculous, like 15 or 16 or something years to put out the next record with a whole new band because it was so much bigger and better and perfect. And anyway, so the Eras Tour is like, can we just say that's like the pinnacle of pop music? How do you like if you just do the same thing again, you're essentially just going to do the exact same show, but you're going to add in a showgirl era. And it's like for all the people that already went to the Eras concert tour, is that going to be a little disappointing? I don't know. So I guess was speculating to Elizabeth that I here's what I think Taylor should do. And obviously with Life of a Showgirl, she just said there's going to be no tour. She's tired. She wants to, and rightfully so, go be engaged, plan your wedding, be happy, whatever. I think the next time she tours, I think she needs to do the complete opposite of the Eras tour. And I think like she already has more money than she knows what to do with. So this is not about money anymore, or at least it shouldn't be. Um, she needs to do a small, like, go back and play little clubs with her acoustic guitar and strip things down and make it small and intimate. Sure, charge an arm and a leg to be, one of 200 people in the room. But I think like that would be an amazing way to re-showcase her music, connect with her fans, do the unexpected. Um, that's what I think she needs to do.
If not that, she needs to figure out how to stair step backwards down. So it could even be like she does a Vegas residency and has the same stadium is just set up for stadium concerts for a while, so she doesn't have to travel as much, but people can travel to her and then figure out how to kind of stair step down. Because I don't think she can do a quick 180 like that necessarily, even though, yeah, that would be great and ideal. But like, unless she did it like no one knows where and when I'm showing up and then I show up kind of situation.
I think she would figure out how to make it work. She seems to be
She's savvy.
a very savvy businesswoman, and good for her. Um, would you mind if I took a couple of minutes and talked about some of the stuff I don't particularly like?
Sure.
Okay, so putting this out on the internet, I'm well aware that I might get a lot of hate for this. So I would like to put a blanket statement here that everything I'm about to say, I don't think is Taylor. I think it is her production team, and I think it's the industry. Okay. My first disappointment was with the marketing of this album. I was actually expecting, and these are my expectations. These are Elizabeth's expectations, other people's expectations, not necessarily anything that Taylor or her camp said. But I was expecting kind of a concept album where every song was sort of like the life of Ophelia or a life of a showgirl, like very directly about being a showgirl, being on tour, etc. And I don't feel like that's what we got. And that's not a bad thing. Um, I know that you can um, take these songs and go, well, they all came from her life as a musician. And like, I don't know if all of those are her life as a musician. Like, Canceled seems to be a little bit more about like maybe a Sophie Turner type of a thing rather than Taylor being canceled while on tour.
Mhm. The
Um,
limelight situations more than the tour.
yeah. Wood, I don't think is her on tour. That's just her and her personal life and relationship. Perfectly fine. That's cool, 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 cool.
I mean, she does have a lot of superstitions that she puts into her tours, but
Right.
nonetheless.
I think Opalite, for example, one could make it a concept song, but I don't think it's intuitively and obviously a concept song. So, anyways, what I'm saying is I was a little bit let down that we weren't gonna get that kind of concept album.
I would have loved some burlesque sounds.
Yes. Yes. Quite frankly, I thought it was gonna be a little bit like Christina Aguilera's Back to Basics kind of concept. Not that she was gonna do what Christina Aguilera did, but like it was gonna be a little bit more like 40s jazzy life of a showgirl. And it's okay that that's not what it is, um, but that kind of leads me to my next. I'm a little disappointed that it's not anything new from Taylor. It is good. Every single song of this album could be a number one single. I'm not saying it's not good. What I think I'm actually saying is Jack Antonoff has a sound. He produces a sound. And because she has worked with him for 3 or 4 records now, it sounds like you would expect from
He
Jack
is not on
Antonoff.
this
It
album.
is. Are you sure?
It's the same producers from
I
1989 and Red.
I could have sworn Antonoff was in the show notes, or it was in the. Please hold whilst I pull out and look.
And he might still be credited.
Yeah, I mean, I see the Max Martin and
Yeah,
everything.
and Shellback. Those were the 2 main producers.
Okay.
And they produced Red in 1989 with her. So still not new sounds.
Okay, but right. Okay, so my all right, screw the Jack Antonoff crap, but like let's like we can walk through some of that, right? When she came out with Red, that was like groundbreaking. It was still kind of country, but it was kind of pop. It was dubsteppy. It was new, like something nobody had ever done that before. And then she did a hard pivot to 1989, which was like the at the time pinnacle of pop music. That was amazing. Um, one could argue that like Lover and Reputation were kind of like 1989, but then she went off and during the pandemic came out with Folklore and Evermore, which was like completely new. It was very singer-songwriter folk music inspired, very cool. and then she pivoted again with Midnights. Um, Now I recognize that the Tortured Poets department, um, it sounds different than Midnights, but that's because it's sadder than Midnights. The words are, but when you listen to the actual music, they're, I don't want to say they're the same, but there's a definite feel. And then I feel like Life of a Showgirl has that same feel. And I guess I was hoping for a new direction. Again, Life of a Showgirl, great album. Every song can be a number one single. I'm not saying it's a bad album. I guess I was expecting Taylor Swift to do another pivot.
Yeah. And I also I'm getting a little crack up here from the wiki page. Wiki page genre label says pop and soft rock. And listen, no, no. I still need a rock album from Taylor Swift. This is, and I know rock is very subjective, but this is not, this is pop.
This is just pop. This is not George Michael. That's soft rock. Like,
Just because she has one song that attribute is paying homage to him doesn't make the whole album soft rock.
I guess I hope her next album does the pivot
I don't
because, go ahead.
I don't want her to have to continue to recreate herself, but now that I didn't get my jazz album, I need a jazz album. I've needed a rock album for so long. I don't need you to pivot your image, but your songwriting talents are so deep and diverse. I really want more styles.
Yeah, I feel like, how was I describing this to somebody else? Taylor Swift has transcended the music industry. When she puts something out, you just look at sales, you look at tours, she is the thing that everybody else in the industry is striving to be. And feel like she is creating the industry, but by constantly doing the same type of thing, the same type of sound, I feel like she is no longer creating the industry and the industry is starting to create her. If does that make any sense?
Yes. Because for a while, she was just creating within the industry and trying to continue to reinvent herself. And then she kind of got to the point where she was big enough she could kind of stop doing that. And she decided to do it harder.
Yeah. I think of her as a Cher, as a Madonna, as a Michael Jackson. Those the Beatles, those people, they didn't necessarily reinvent themselves, but everything they did was, it pushed the industry and it was new and everybody went, "Oh my god, we got to do that."
And now she's
And
a self-telling prophecy.
right. And that's a huge set of expectations and I'm not trying to say that Taylor Swift needs to be that per se, but I guess that's the expectation that I think we all have and we've seen how the industry has treated her. And so I'm a little scared that if she doesn't push those boundaries herself, that the industry is going to start creating her for her, even passively, subconsciously. And like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I should stop babbling, I guess is the real takeaway. But again, I don't want to poo poo because it is a great album. It's on repeat in the car. It's on repeat on Spotify. Like, and I know, like what you said, Elizabeth has said multiple times, I need more music videos. As far as the variants in the movie, I've seen. I think this is the last topic I have notes for, but I've seen a lot of negativity around that as it being a cash grab. Um, First, what are your thoughts on all of that?
She has done this in the past. So this is not new behavior. But also, No thanks? I don't know.
Listen, I am here for the movies, the music videos, everything. I know from interviews with Taylor, Taylor has, like I said, transcended the music industry. She's not just a singer-songwriter anymore. She's a director. She's a choreographer. She does that. People don't direct and do her choreography for her. She creates. And I think that that level of creativity is where she's gone, and I think that that's sort of like what gets her off, as it were. So, create the movies because she's not creating the movies for a cash grab. I mean, it's great that she's getting paid for it, but I think she's doing that because it is the creative release and outlet she needs alongside the music. Now, the like 27 or 30 different variations of the same damn CD, I'm not here for that.
I think it's fun. You get to buy the vinyls in a different color. That's kind of cool. You get to pick your album cover and you could have different cover art. That's fun and fine. But also just put them all out there at the same time. So as a conscious buyer, I can be like, I am only getting one and I'm going to get this one variant of this because I like that color vinyl versus this color.
Yeah. And also, I think you need to slim down your options. You want to do different artwork and you want to make the vinyls different colors. That is awesome. But I know for a fact that she's releasing the CD plus one behind the scenes track or plus one deleted song.
That was irritating.
And she's going to release like 10 of those. So you'd have to buy all 10 variants of the same album to get the 10 behind the scenes deleted song things. And I think that that's the cash grab. If you want to do all the different collectors editions with the different artwork and the vinyl colors and awesome. But like also I agree with you releasing them piecemeal is I think is just a mean. I understand that that's an economic model. I get it. You're really cashing in on the whole fear of missing out. But can you just imagine this, right? So when I was growing up and CDs finally became a thing, because yes, I am old enough that I remember when CDs were created. Um, you had three versions of a CD at most. You had the CD, just the studio album, $9.99. Then you had the deluxe album, where you would get that same studio album, but then you would have a couple of tracks. They might be like an interview with the band or acoustic versions of the same songs or a couple live versions of the songs when the band was like playing it before they recorded it. And then of course, then you get the third, like the collector's edition, where you get like the big nice box with extra art. Maybe there's a DVD inside it as well as the CD. And maybe instead of one CD with the behind the scenes and extras and the studio album, you get the studio album and then a separate CD with just all of the extra awesomeness. And like, but that was like it. Can you imagine Taylor Swift releases these 30 different variants and 12 of them are the studio album plus one extra thing, and you buy all 12 of those and they're like $25 a pop. So we're talking you just spent 2500, 2600, $2700 on this shit. And then because she's releasing everything piecemeal, she releases one like collector's edition or whatever that is the studio album with all of the extras. I would be so mad.
Right? And listen, I just want to listen to the acoustic music. Could you just tell me that it's going to be on a streaming platform? I don't care if it's 10 weeks from now. I just want to eventually hear it.
And I wonder, I know that Taylor is a really savvy businesswoman, but I also know that she cares a lot about her fans. And she's hosted listening parties where she's brought random fans over to her house and made dinner and really given back to the fandom. So I wonder, is this like piecemeal variant release process, is that her? Is that I'll use the industry, I don't know, her team, the record label, whomever, I don't know. I don't know. But that one does sort of seem like the cash grab.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if it's her team, she has a lot of leniency over her team because she's worked really hard to be her team. Yeah. That's when you're like, "Oh, she's a billionaire." That's right.
I know a lot of people are kind of upset that she made a deal with Target,
Yeah.
but I mean, we can all also say that she made a deal with Disney, and we know who Disney is owned by, et cetera, at this point. Speaking of that, one last talking point. Did you see the social media post that Taylor Swift just put out about the end of an era and the final eras tour concert coming out on Disney Plus with a 6 episode miniseries or whatever?
Yes. I'm very excited.
Um, Inquiring minds, and by inquiring minds, I mean Elizabeth, would like to know if that could perhaps be Christmas
Yeah.
viewing party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll
I'm
just
surprised you said that because like hashtag Lord of the Rings, right?
I mean, there just might be 2 days where we have to have the TV on the entire day. You guys are staying a week, right? I mean, it's just John and Kenzie. We'll have to figure out which one they get to see, but then you all will be here for a week, so you'll get all of them.
Yeah. We'll be there as long as you want us there, or as long as Elizabeth's work schedule allows, for sure. Okay. So, all right, we talked about first impressions, first listens, multiple listens, what we own, what we like, favorites, things we went meh about, the movie, the lack of tour, things that I in particular didn't like. We talked about the whole cash grab thing and hate from the internet. We just addressed those things. Are we missing any topics, or did we beat a dead horse?
I think we've covered the album minus going into the details of each song and where the inspiration is. And what I've learned is I need to maybe read Hamlet.
I didn't want to do a deep dive on each song. I didn't feel like
It's not worth it, but I would love to learn more about Hamlet and some of that inspiration.
I think I'm gonna probably start googling some of that now because I didn't that was the thing I didn't know.
But yeah, the fate of Ophelia. I
Okay.
had it stuck in my head because, Ohio curriculum, we do Shakespeare every year, right? And so somehow I think Hamlet was supposed to be senior year, and I don't remember reading it, but I do vividly remember Macbeth and the TV or the movie that we watched that corresponded with Macbeth. And I had to Google it before this because I was like, was it Macbeth or was it Hamlet? And it was this World War II inspired Macbeth with these nurses that were ghosts haunting from the grave.
Man, how long have we been talking? Oh, wow. We've been this to everybody listening that loves Taylor Swift. Thank you so much for sticking with us for something like an hour. Wow. Um I pitched this idea to Becca thinking like, "Oh, we'll spend like 20-25 minutes talking about Taylor and we can be like, okay, peace out." That didn't happen.
In your defense, every time you tell me that it'll just be a half-hour episode, it's never a half-hour episode, Matt.
That's probably my fault.
You lie a lot to get me on.
Sorry, not sorry.
So maybe we should put a bookmark in it and go listen or go read some Lightlark to prepare for our first buddy read deep dive.
Yes. In case anybody new that has never heard us before clicked on this because of the Taylor Swift thing, would you mind telling them how they could get in touch with us if they have any thoughts or feelings?
Yes, we would love to hear your thoughts and ideas. You can leave us a comment or a review, or even email us at bookclubbybecca@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at Becca's Book Club Adventure.
We will, all of this should be somewhere in the description down below. So thanks for hopping on with me, sister.
It's great to see you. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.